Nikola Jokic, Kyrie, Irving, and Jalen Brown. What do these guys have in common? They are some of the NBA's biggest superstars who are walking away from Nike and Adidas. These guys are signing deals with brands you can barely pronounce, like Anta, Li-Ning, and 361. And now everyone's wondering why Chinese sneaker brands are secretly flooding the NBA.
按他合度回来的时候，可能成为
他是中国的这个运动鞋老大。
对
对对对，
还也可能成为比耐克更大。
这个有可能哦。
有可能。
If you look closer, it's clear that this isn't just about a paycheck. It's a full-scale corporate war, where the Chinese brands are ruthlessly exploiting Nike's arrogance and Nike's creative stagnation. And today, we're going to break down the exact financial and technological blueprint for this hostile takeover. We will reveal the shocking price tag that made Klay Thompson walk away from Nike forever, and the one piece of new cushioning technology that is scientifically proven to reduce player injuries. But first, we have to start with the betrayal that opened the floodgates, the story of Dwayne Wade. You see, the Chinese takeover didn't begin with a giant check. It began with a giant insult that happened back in 2012. Dwayne Wade, a three-time NBA champion and one of the most bankable stars in the league, was wearing a Nike-owned Jordan shoe. He was a top-tier athlete, but in Nike's massive multi-billion-dollar roster, he was just another name in a stable of stars. They treated him like an employee who should be grateful he had a job. But of course, Wade wanted more. He wanted creative control. He wanted a signature shoe that reflected his personality and his growing legacy. Nike, operating with the hubris of a monopoly, gave him a generic contract and a generic shoe. Their attitude was simple. Where else are you going to go? We are the standard. Wade's answer was Li-Ning. His decision to leave Nike for an unproven Chinese brand was initially seen as career suicide, not to mention that people thought he was on bad terms with MJ. Now, not only did that not happen, but Wade's move was the first and most significant crack in the empire. Li-Ning didn't just offer him money, they offered him ownership and a partnership called Way of Wade. He was no longer an employee expected to take orders. He was the co-founder of a brand with a stake in its success. This emotional and professional validation became the ultimate recruitment tool. Nike's arrogance was exposed by two critical pain points that Chinese brands immediately began exploiting. The first was financial complacency. Nike's endorsement strategy has always been rigid, placing players into tiers. If you're not LeBron or Jordan, you're capped, regardless of your championship pedigree or cultural impact. This is where the challenger was brutal and effective. Take Klay Thompson, for instance. He was a four-time championship, a foundational piece of a dynasty, but he was always the second fiddle to Steph Curry. Nike offered him a typical shooting guard deal. Anta stepped in and paid a shocking premium, a guaranteed $80 million over 10 years before bonuses and royalties. That is generational wealth, a statement of respect that Nike refused to match. The Chinese brands were not trying to compete, they were trying to buy the loyalty that Nike took for granted. The second pain point was product stagnation. While Nike focused on retro Jordan releases and hype-driven drops, the Chinese brands poured money into genuine performance technology. Nike's slowing growth in China, its second largest market, and a devastating 20% dip in recent quarters is directly tied to local competitors gaining ground. But it would soon get worse as more brands, including 361, started gaining more ground. And wait till you hear what Jokic said about why he signed with them. The takeover accelerated when the league's biggest names realized the Chinese brands weren't a fallback plan. Now, they were the better business model, offering both a bigger check and a better product. Here's Kyrie talking about what they offered him.
I've been, grateful for the journey that I've had with Anta so far. They've included me in, so many of the behind-the-scenes production conversations. But, being situated there as a CCO gives me a different empowerment role. I've signed a few players.
And wait till you hear what he said about their business approach. But then, the list of stars who have made the leap is a clear marker of the strategic shift. Dwayne Wade pioneered the concept of created ownership with Li-Ning. Klay Thompson became the face of the financial premium with Anta. Kyrie Irving joined Anta, demanding and receiving a new signature line focused on his unique vision and cultural alignment. Also, Jalen Brown linked up with Li-Ning, prioritizing creative control over Nike's legacy. Even the ruthless competitor Jimmy Butler chose Li-Ning. And then we have the three-time MVP Nikola Jokic signing with 361. And would you know that Aaron Gordon played a huge role in it?
Can you tell me just about the role that Aaron Gordon played in this whole process?
Oh yeah. I think that's how it started. I think AJ told me just try, just contact them or some. I think that's how it started.
However, wait till you hear what convinced the Joker to work with them over the established brands. But then, the blueprint is simple. Buy the talent Nike doesn't respect and give them creative control and superior tech. The most compelling part of this story is the technology designed to reduce the risk of injury. This is the ultimate silent selling point for players who are investing millions in their bodies. While Nike relies on aging air and zoom technology, the Chinese brands are innovating with proprietary foam compounds designed for the modern NBA players' explosive, high-impact movements. For example, brands like 361 use CQT Extreme midsole technology, a supercritical foaming material that offers 16% better energy return than traditional midsoles. Anta uses Energy X Plus cushioning. These are not just marketing terms. These are dual-layer systems of shock absorption that directly address the high-impact stress of an 82-game NBA season. The players know their career literally rests on their knees and ankles, and they're choosing the brand that prioritizes their long-term health. Kyrie Irving's new Anta Kai 1 is the perfect example of this philosophy in action. The shoe uses a runner wrap-up feature to stabilize him during sharp cuts and quick directional changes, a technical detail essential for his fast-paced play style. Listen to Kyrie here.
One of my favorite shoes that came out this year that I wish came out in more units. Just had to make sure I did my little PSA, my little business drop. We came correct with these. We came correct. We did our thing. Added the strap, really put emphasis on the collar line here, just the padding on the inside, like really paying attention to the details of how everybody was gonna feel.
Furthermore, they're promoting designs with rounded radiuses and plate-free construction that reduces the risk of ankle injuries and enhances natural foot movement. The Chinese brands are telling the players, we will pay you more, treat you like a partner, and build a shoe that is scientifically better for your body. This strategy led to the great fallout between the swoosh or stripes and the NBA superstars. The Chinese takeover is no longer a secret. Now it's a financial and strategic crisis for Nike, forcing them to deal with a loyalty crisis they created themselves. Nike's China revenue has dipped by 20% in recent quarters. This is the painful cost of their arrogance. But the problem isn't just financial, it's cultural. When Dwayne Wade walked away, Nike dismissed it. When Klay Thompson took $80 million to switch teams, Nike was shocked. When Kyrie Irving had a public falling out with the brand, Nike cut him immediately, demonstrating a willingness to sacrifice a top seller over controversy. But this move only validated the Chinese brand strategy of offering real partnerships. The strategic fallout of these departures is changing how NBA teams are built and how players view their worth. Players are now prioritizing shoes that actively mitigate injury risk. They are demanding designs with advanced cushioning to handle the stress of modern basketball better than what Nike is offering. And let's not forget the respect that these Chinese sneaker brands bring. Here's the Joker on why he chose them.
36 won't show up with great respect to me, and I just said these guys wants to do and wants to basically help me, use me, however you want to say. And then when I read about them, they're actually really, really popular, and they're really up scaling brand, let's say like that. And maybe I can help them too in some way. So
now more players are demanding more from their sponsors, not just money, but a voice. The Chinese brands have demonstrated that they will give players full creative control and ownership stakes, something Dwayne Wade proved was worth more than any Nike contract. Nike is now forced to play catch-up. They have to spend billions more to retain their aging stars and aggressively pursue the next generation of talent. They have to innovate their technology to compete with the superior cushioning now on the feet of champions like Jokic. Listen to Jokic talk about why he loved his Chinese shoe.
I love it because, I love it. I cannot be more happy. Not just with this shoes. With all the stuff they're making, especially for me. I think it's every a little detail. You see, every little detail.
This is a crisis of culture, technology, and finance that Nike created when they forgot to respect their own champions. Right now, in the NBA, a silent multi-million-dollar takeover is happening. You see it every night, but you're not supposed to notice. This takeover was fueled by Nike's arrogance, secured by Klay Thompson's $80 million contract, and validated by the superior injury-reducing technology on the feet of players like Kyrie Irving and Nikola Jokic. The swoosh no longer rules the court, so don't be surprised when one day you can hardly find Nike on the feet of your stars. But do you think Nike can win back the NBA's biggest stars? Let us know in the comments. However, for a deeper dive into the root of the chaos, watch why NBA stars are secretly leaving Nike next.